Good morning, students. Today you unmute and tell me good morning. Don't write in the chat.
Good morning, ma'am.
Unmute and tell me good morning. Yeah, good morning.
Ma'am.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. So, how was your holiday? Could you spend it properly, or there were some changes from the last years? How was your holiday? Tell me. If you have any informal group, please write the message that the class is on. Ask them to join. Few of you are sending me WhatsApp messages that whether there is classes or not. You please, if you have any informal group you have created, please inform in that group. Okay, that the class is on. I was late to join. That's why maybe they were having confusion whether there will be class or not. Okay, so I hope you have spent your holidays well and welcome back after holidays. After 2 more months, again you are going to enjoy a long holiday like this for Christmas. But before that, we have to finish off so many things. We have to study a lot. So it would be good if we do not waste time and start studying. Keep the flow on. Okay. So as you can see on your screen, this is a new chapter today. Okay, so your first chapter is over. Let me tell you precisely. Your first chapter was consisting of two halves. Okay, one was regarding the very basics, that is the concept of demand, supply, market equilibrium and all that, elasticity of demand, elasticity of supply, like that. Then the second portion of the first chapter was all about your cardinal utility theory, ordinal utility theory, then the indifference curves, then budget line, substitution, price, income effect, Giffen inferior normal goods, all those things. And then we finished off with revealed preference theory. So starting from the theory of the consumer behavior, that was the second part of the first chapter. Okay, it was a long chapter. So we have finished off that chapter before puja, and all the assignments that I have given you, please refer to those questions. If anything is required additionally, I will give you after I finish off the syllabus. Okay, but for the time being, you please refer to those assignment questions only. And depending on more assignments, you will carry on. You don't have to prepare all the notes separate. If you want to do that, is very nice, but some in college I have seen many people are there who don't wish to or like to prepare notes. So for them, those questions are enough. Okay, but if you want to prepare separate note copy, you can always do that. I will welcome you with that. Okay, so refer to the assignments. My point is, refer to the assignments, and few more assignments will be given once I finish off the syllabus. Okay, and today we are starting with the second chapter. This is the beginning of the second chapter. The chapter's first topic is all about product curves. Okay, product curves, then all about productivity in an organization. Now, where does this production occurs? Obviously, in the production department. And for managing the production and operations properly and efficiently, this understanding of the different product curves in the short period of time, in the long period of time, we will name it as short run, long run, like that. We will have to understand all about the product curves. Okay, and depending on the concepts, we will bring on some additional concepts to the curves. All right, so today we are starting. I'm starting because it's 29 in number, 50% have joined, so I am starting. Today's topic is law of diminishing marginal returns. You can write in your copy, those who are following copy, simply not listening to me. Those who are following notebook, you can write in your copy in the notebook, The topic is chapter 2. You write up under chapter 2. The first topic is law of diminishing marginal returns. Okay, I will not share this particular link. This is just for your understanding, because in Investopedia this is a .com site. I do not prefer to take notes from this. For note I will share a different link. Okay, this is for your understanding. So do not write the note now. Just give the heading. Law of diminishing marginal returns. Now what is this? For this you will have to remember the law of diminishing marginal utility. If you remember, from that this concept is not from that concept it is coming. It is somewhat linked to that concept. It is something similar to that concept. Okay, let us study. So it says that the law of diminishing marginal returns is a theory in economics that predicts that after some optimal level of capacity is reached, adding an additional factor of production will actually result in smaller increases in output. Now the point is, the entire concept, let me tell you, instead of going through the lines, you listen to me. Suppose you have a manufacturing unit. Suppose you have a manufacturing unit and you want to increase the output level. You want to bring an increase in the output level, and you want to increase your productivity so that your sales also increases, and thus your profit gets increased. You want to do that. So for doing that, you know that you have to increase your own power. You have to spend something in your own input. Otherwise, you are not going to improve on your output level. So for doing that, you have to bring on certain changes in your input level or the level of capacity that you have in your farm. So what you will do, you will go for an additional factor of production. Factor of production can be many. Okay, factor of production can be labor. Factor of production can be capital investment in terms of purchase of machinery, plant, building, all that. Factor of production can be your raw materials, investment in the raw materials, investment in the research and development so that more technology comes out. So many can be factors of production. So what you will do is, you will try to increase that factor of production so that you can see a change in the output level. Obviously, without improving your input, you cannot expect an improvement in your output. So you will do that. Now, it says that obviously if you increase that factor of production, if you spend more on the inputs, it is obvious that there will be changes, there will be increases in the output. It's true. But this law of diminishing marginal returns states that after a certain level, it is called optimal level of capacity. Okay, so after a certain level, if you add more units of factor of production, if you spend more on increasing your inputs, there will be actually first smaller increase in output, then gradually they will decrease. Okay, what it says that if you go on spending more on your inputs and you want to improve your output capacity, it will happen for the time being, but up to a certain level of production only. That is called the optimal level of capacity. After that, if you go on adding the factors of production, they will actually result in smaller increase in output. That means the proportion will not be same as it was happening in the initial stages. It won't be that much good now, and gradually you will see, I will show you the curve also, I will show you the theory in real. You will see that after reaching a certain point, it will actually start to decrease. It means what? The improvement in the output level. Okay, now see an example. It will be clearer for you. For example, a factory employs workers to manufacture its products. So as I told you that workers or employees labors in economical terms, if you name it as labors, they can also be one of the factor of production. So suppose a factory employs workers. Suppose a factory employs workers to manufacture its products, and at some point the company operates at an optimal level. With all other production factors being constant, adding additional workers beyond this optimal level will result in less efficient operations. So what will happen is, if you go on increasing the number of workers in your company, after reaching that optimal level, that means this is the maximum utilization you can make out of the workers. This is the maximum utilization you can make and add on to your efficiency level in terms of production. And after reaching that level, increasing, if you go on adding, if you think that I will go on adding additional workers and I will go on increasing my efficiency, that will not happen. Okay, because this is a fact. If suppose your factory has a capacity of accommodating 100 workers in a single shift, and they are working efficiently, they are giving their maximum level and maximum possible their efficiency, they are utilizing maximum to the fullest. And after that 100 workers, that is the maximum, that is your optimal level. Beyond this, if you go on increasing the worker, if you think that last month I had increased my number of workers by 20 and my efficiency level in terms of production got improved, so I will increase more, I'll employ more 20 workers. But then what you will see is there will be chaos in the production unit. There will be less efficiency utilization. The workers are lethargic. They are thinking that the other worker is going to work. In terms of disbursement of wages also, you will find that there will be chaos. There will be not optimal utilization of their efficiency. And gradually what will happen? Your efficiency in terms of production is definitely going to decrease. That is the concept of law of diminishing marginal returns. Okay. So now you have to also understand that this concept is related to the concept of diminishing marginal utility, if you remember. And this concept, that is the law of diminishing returns, is going to be contrasted with economies of scale. Now you do not know what is the meaning of economies of scale. Those who had economics, they will know, but from my side, I have not taught you the meaning of economies of scale, so I will not go into detailed elaboration of it. In this particular chapter itself, it is there. So once we understand that concept, we will understand that this law of diminishing returns is an opposite concept of economies of scale. And this law of diminishing returns is related to the concept of diminishing marginal utility. If you remember, if you increase 1 unit of the product, what happened? There's an increased level of utility, increased level of satisfaction, but after a certain point, they decreases, if you remember, in the last chapter we did. So this is related to that concept, okay? Now this key takeaways, if you ever visit this site, investopedia.com, always go through these key takeaways. They have a lot of explanation. It will clear your concept. Let us read, okay? Let us read this one. What it says, the law of diminishing marginal returns states that adding an additional factor of production results in smaller increases in output. So it is obvious that if you go on adding, it will lead to smaller increases in the output. So it will go on decreasing. The increases in the output level will go on decreasing. It will be easier for you to understand if you see the diagram. Let us quickly go through it and go to the diagram. It will be better for you to understand. So it says that the increases in the output level will gradually decrease actually. Okay, if you go on adding the factor of production, the increases in the output level will go on decreasing. Then after some optimal level of capacity utilization, capacity you have utilized to the fullest, it is your optimal level of utilization. The addition of any larger amounts of a factor of production will inevitably yield decreased per unit incremental returns. So you read this line, let us read once again. After some optimal level of capacity utilization, the adding of any larger amounts of a factor of production, if you go on adding the actual amount which you are adding initially, but it will result in inevitably decreased per unit incremental returns. So there is a mathematical concept in it also. Okay, suppose the output efficiency, you are seeing that it is increasing by 100 units. So 100 rupees, say we have transformed it into money and we are saying that it is 100 rupees. So per unit you will have to measure, say there are 20 products, so 100 by 20, that is 50, sorry 5, sorry 100 by 20, that is 5, is your per unit increase in returns, right? But you will see that after utilization of the optimal capacity level, if you go on adding that extra amount of factor of production, this 5 rupees per unit will not be 5 rupees. It is going to be gradually 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then nil. It is that thing. Okay, if you bring on the mathematical concept, it goes like that. For example, if a company employs workers to manufacture its product, at some point the company will operate at an optimal level, with all other factors of production being constant. If you're keeping all the other things at constant as it is, and if you're going on increasing the number of workers in the company, then you will see that the company is operating at an optimal level. Adding additional workers beyond this optimal level will result in less efficient operations. This is the same thing that we are discussing. Okay, let us not go into the history and all. I will take you to another tab. Yeah. I think you can see the tab which is having the it is a site of economicshealth.org. If you can't see this, do let me know. Okay, it is a site of economicshealth.org. I was talking about this site also in your first chapter. It is also a helpful site. You can refer to this one for preparing your notes. Okay. All right, so yeah. Okay, now see here you can see the precise definition. I will share this link in your Moodle and you will refer to this link for making your notes. Okay, not investopedia.com. For understanding, you can refer to that. I will, I think it is 9:11 already, so I will explain the graph tomorrow. Okay, just I'll show you the graph. You see, this is MP is called the marginal productivity. Okay, this topic, law of diminishing marginal returns, may also be termed as the law of diminishing marginal productivity. Okay, same concept. So MP will refer to marginal product, MC is referred to marginal cost. Marginal cost is an investment in your input, isn't it? Cost is an investment in your input, what you are spending for increasing your productivity. So investment in your input is called marginal cost, and the resulting output would be the marginal productivity. Then you can see that you are increasing the marginal cost, you are increasing it, but as a result of it, the marginal productivity was also increasing. But after that, it is the optimal utilization. This line, the straight line, you can see it is going through these 2 points. These straight lines was the optimal level or utilization. You had already reached that, and after that you went on increasing the the investment in your factors of production, and you saw that once you are starting the increasing, you are increasing the investment in your input, it is as a result of it the marginal productivity is actually decreasing. It is increasing, but this purple line is increasing but the pink line is decreasing, isn't it? So we'll discuss this in detail tomorrow, and I will share this link in your Moodle. Okay, so this much for today. Just hold on, do not leave. I'll take live attendance. Just hold on for a while. Yes, I'm calling out the names. Please respond. Abhay, Abhay, Aditya.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, Abhay.
Okay. Alsava,
Yes, ma'am.
Aman,
Yes, ma'am.
Aman Sharma, Ananta, Angela,
Yes, ma'am.
Anish,
Yes, ma'am.
Anisha,
Yes, ma'am.
Ankit, Anmol,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Anmol Lama, Bhavesh, Vikash, Vishwadeep, Chadu,
Yes, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Chirag, Deepika Agarwal, Girish, Himani,
Present, ma'am.
Jaya, Kashish,
Yes, ma'am.
Meghna, Mehul,
Yes, ma'am.
Parveen, Muskan Agarwal, Neha, Nikhil, Ishita,
Yes, ma'am.
Nupur,
Yes, ma'am.
Piyush,
Present,
Pragadeep,
ma'am.
Prageshwar, Prashant,
Present, ma'am.
Pratham,
Present, ma'am.
Preeti, Poonam,
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ronak,
Yes, ma'am.
Ravi,
Yes, ma'am.
Riyant, Riya Lama, Rohan.
Hello.
Yes, who is this?
Hello.
Ronak.
Ma'am, I'm present.
Who is this? Riya. Ronak Agarwal, Sahil, Shama.
Present, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I just check my roll call? Was my name called?
What is your
Pratham
name?
Agarwal, ma'am.
Is given.
Ma'am, please present me and I'll leave. Thank you, ma'am.
Kama, Srishti,
Yes, ma'am.
Sneha, Saurabh, Saurabh
Present, ma'am.
Agarwal, Srishti, Srishti Tamang, Suhana, Sujit, Suvneet, Swati, Swayam. Okay. Tanya, Yash, Yashika. Okay, you can.
Ma'am. Ma'am. Hello.
Tell me, who is this?
Ma'am, it's Muskan.
Ma'am.
Sujit.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second, just a second.
Okay.
Muskan, wait. Amen. Muskan Agarwal, 21 or 59?
Ma'am, 2-1, I didn't get you. 452, it's.
What is your roll number, Muskan Agarwal?
Ma'am, I
It is-
don't know my roll number.
At the end, it is 21 or 59. Rest of you who had responded, you can leave and join the next class, okay? Yeah, Muskan, you have to check your roll number. There are two Muskan Agarwals, okay? I think it is 21. You are attending the class for the first time, no?
No, ma'am.
You just check your number and tell me. Otherwise, I won't be able to mark because there are two Muskan Agarwal. It is 21 and 59. You have to know
Ma'am,
your
where
number.
I'll check.
In your registration card or iCard,
Okay.
both it will be there. And next one, Sujit. No, Sujit Pathak.
Ma'am, I'll
Yes.
check and
Yes, ma'am.
message you in WhatsApp. Okay.
No, I will have to mark you right now. I'm submitting this one. You check now and tell me.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
Excuse me, ma'am. You didn't call out my name.
Shreya.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. Given, Shreya.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hmm. Yes, Muskan, you check.
Ma'am, just a second.
Okay.
I'll just ask that Muskan. Ma'am, I'm not able to find it where it is.
You check all your documents while admitting. No, you check all your documents. It should be there in iCard. iCard, haven't you received?